Hello and welcome to episode 6, I think. Today we're going to be talking about the end game state. We've got some regulars. We've got Patrick on his Warlock. Cal is on his Warrior of an indeterminate name. I'm healing again. I know I'm terrible at it. And we have Scott tanking, I think. Did I say that? I don't know.
Yep.
But we also have
No,
Jake.
you did now.
We did now. We have Jake, who is a YouTuber, TreeSap Jake. You should definitely check out his channel. He's quite an interesting chap.
Yo.
Join us for the first time. Jake, you got invited first of all not only because you've got quite a nice voice. You sound nice.
Appreciate that.
Also, your video on the end game. Do you want to speak about what it is you said? You don't have to go over the whole 10 minutes that the video was, but just a basic idea of what you were saying on there.
Yeah, of course. I thought I was here to talk the whole 10 minutes. Oh, okay. Well, basically to kind of like give a brief summary of what I said. I basically just talked about the fact that even when WoW gets really dire, like especially as it is a little bit during this patch, there's something that always draws me back to it, and a lot of it is, well, for me personally, I'm a PvPer, like above all else, and the arena rated battlegrounds always brings me in like that. I can't find that content absolutely anywhere else. I feel that that's what makes it very special. But also the in terms of PvE, like Mythic Plus is actually a lot of fun, and for someone that sort of never really did PvE content at all in previous expansions, it's been really fun sort of getting used to that. So I've sort of labeled those two as the sort of like main feature for keeping me interested.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love Mythic Plus. It was pretty much, for me, the best addition they had to the game. I don't mind PvP so much. I'm not so good at it. One of the things that I liked about your video, one of the things that you said, was that feeling you get when you do something, like when you got your amount for earning the percent after your rating, or when you find a key. It's something I synergize with a little bit. That feeling is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do think that a big part of playing the end game is that feeling, and it's quite funny because the amount of times I hear people say, "Oh, you gear up, then someone new comes out, and you gear up again," and I thought, well, that's kind of what the game you're playing. But I absolutely love the end game. The issue I've got at the minute in this final tier is I am running out of things to do. I find even though we said about keep moving, guys. Even though we said about the the feeling you get, we have like you get the raid at IO, which is great. Patrick, move a bit more, mate.
Yeah, sorry.
Which is great in terms of getting groups, but because it's the end tier and people are kind of pushing, you got all this high corruption and all these crazy different builds. You have the issue where people want players that have already done it. I mean, I guess it's the same with pugs and with arenas. People want people with high rating. You don't want to build rating in a pug. So unless you've got that already, then you're kind of stuck. And you get to this point in the game where people expect it. And, if you don't, then you're a noob. And it just creates some sort of an issue. I don't know if you guys ever faced anything like that where you're trying hard to push and it's just not happening because you haven't already done it.
Yeah, I think like one of the really interesting parts is that, and one of the things I touched upon is that even in sort of looking for a group where like people require that sort of thing, like if you keep trying and like look through, you'll find someone actually who kind of like gets you on like on that sort of level. And that's one of the things that I found, especially during this patch, like even when people are sort of like you have to have 470 gear to get in anything, like even if you're sort of at a really low rating, kind of like 1800 or 1600 even, like people want you to have sort of insane gear and stuff. But you can find some people who are just absolutely so chill and such a pleasure to play with, and I think that's the same for Mythic Plus as well. Like you can find friends who are just so good, and that's what's been sort of keeping me going really more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite lucky. I mean, you as well are in the community on Facebook, the WoWEU page, which is where I saw your video first posted. I just need some mana, Scott, after this pull, please.
Okay.
Well, during
Priests.
I switched out my talent from Enlightenment to Trail of Light. I thought it might be a bit more useful this week, but I kind of missed the mana. Yeah, so on that page, what you find is there's a big sense of community where people. I quite often say to people, "Oh, I'll give you a hand with this," or if you need help, I don't mind running you through for a plus. We have it in the guild as well. But at the level that I want to be doing, like I want to be pushing it into 20s, 21s, unless it's your key, like you have very little chance, and you find yourself doing it as well. I touched about this in the Raider IO video, where I said basically that you do fall into the same trap that I was slating people for doing, where you want the best group, so you do go for the better people, and the other people don't really have much of a chance. So, like for a 20, obviously people want people that have done many 20s before, so if you try and get into that tier, it does create an issue. Run away! Run away!
My internet cut out, sorry.
Oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. Is it coming back on?
Yeah, but I'm back.
The classic blunder.
The classic
Scott's internet.
That is a problem.
Oh, it is around this time usually, isn't it, as well, that it goes off. I'm going to run back.
Without bloody fail.
That's okay. I try my best to put one of those Ring of Peace down, but it's been a while since I've played Monk, so...
It's cool, I've got it back.
I realised I had the wrong mouse on as well. I use a Trinity, Razer Trinity mouse, and I was playing Fortnite with the kids, and I had the wrong. So I was trying to press buttons on my mouse. I was like, "Why are these not working? Why is there nothing there?"
Wow.
These don't have numbers on.
Yeah, do you have like a proper MMO mouse?
Yeah, I before this I had the Mad Catz. Ladies, it's not pull. It's the she procs. She proc. I don't know. Is it a proc?
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 spots where they can spawn.
Yeah. She's here anyway. That's the main issue. The main
Gonna be
thing.
dead in a minute.
Move her out of the candles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like mouses with lots of buttons, so it looks cooler than it actually is. And then I look like a gamer. I might be very good, but my mouse is awesome.
Exactly. It's about
You know what you do.
Exactly. Like you see all these like streamers with their sort of flashy little like keyboards and everything and lights and stuff, and you're immediately thinking, "Wow, this person must be insane at the game," even if they're not. It's just sort of that perception.
Keyboard is so cool. I mean, the kids play with it all the time, so the colours are wrong at the minute. But it has like an impulse. Whichever button I press, it impulses out from there, like a little ripple.
Nice.
It's super cool. Super cool. Talk about endgame again. Sorry, Patrick. You're like the reason I wanted you to come here is because you're a renowned farmer. Like you are the farmiest of farmers.
Yes.
Yeah. How many warlocks do you have again?
5. Oh, well, 6 because I have got a Vulpera now as well, but I haven't leveled it. So it should go 5.5.
5.5. I mean, is that because of the level or because of the height? Are you sizes, Patrick? Is this what this is? Does size matter?
Important question.
It does.
Damn it!
Sorry, Cal.
Because I'll just cry myself to sleep.
Small guys try harder though.
Did you find you got more to do in the end game? Obviously, you raid with us and you do a bit of Mythic Plus, but do you find you ever get bored because you've got so much that you want to farm? Like, I know you have like your spreadsheet and your list of what you want to do after you've got that amount or a certain pet,
I mean, I don't look at the farming too much as the end game because sometimes it's the end game maybe expect depending on what I'm still farming, you know how lucky I am, that kind of thing. So I mean things like that, farming I'm doing even when it's current content, looking to collect the mounts that just come out, that kind of thing, and only where time permits at the flat end of the X pack like this where it all plateaus out and you think, well, now I can turn that time to other matters.
Yeah.
But in that sense, I mean, just the specific of your subject, I think the end game is garbage. I really do.
Oh yeah.
I'm absolutely outraged that Blizzard pushed this out to us. I think the whole X pack was garbage.
Oh, do you?
And it continues to be. Yeah. The end game, in terms of this mechanic, only applies within this game itself. It's nothing permanent to your character. I just don't see the point.
Is it in?
I
Do you want to
found
elaborate a bit more on what it is you actually...
When Visions came out, they had to nerf it by 60 and 50%, 40% for 2 of the classes, 2 of the roles. you know, forgetting entirely that the other DPS damage over time thing. Completely bizarre mechanic to introduce, and then have to nerf within weeks of introducing it by those amounts. The same with the visions and corruptions. I think, well, if that was something that lasted afterwards, unlock some T-mod maybe, something you're going to use, fine, but it's just for 2 bosses in a
Oh,
raid.
I've got stunned and I'm stuck. Yeah, I saw that happen. Patrick, can you still tell me when I'm
Yeah.
dead, please? I got stuck and
I can
the
freestone you, yeah.
I don't know if
You
can
can't in that form.
No. I got stunned
And
the
in
guys
terms of
couldn't-
these,
Sorry, Patrick, carry on.
in terms of the end game, I mean, I'm really disappointed in the visions because, like, I look at Stormwind and Orgrimmar, and I just think, well, they're just old game contents with new
Can I get the
health
soul stone,
bars,
please?
new mobs. I did drop one on you, didn't you?
It won't work in that form.
Ah, I learned
Because
something there.
I'm intermittently dead and alive at the same time.
Oh, but you've never died before.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. That's definitely what happened there.
First time for us both, that.
I think it's because I joined. Sorry, guys.
It definitely,
But
it
same
definitely was. That's RNG stuff.
Same when I look at the assaults. I mean, again, they're just old game zones that we've already paid for in a previous Edge pack or patch, whatever, and to just put new mobs in them with new health bars and said, "Here, go have fun again." And I'm really, you know, for that, I'm just disappointed in terms of value for money. I just think this is just not good enough.
Yeah,
There's
I
nothing
mean,
in the
it's a
end
fair
game
point
but
to
doing the
say.
vision, and after that, it's well, okay, done it now. Got rank 15, done the achievement. I'm moving on.
Yeah, Patrick,
Thank you for
that.
that. That was a good one. Thank you.
It was a good one. We did one. We did a run. It was just like an alt run, and I was healing my priest for Patrick's druid. Under I think it was on the last boss, and I was like, yeah, he's gonna die there. So I leap of faithed him, and I had a mini Patrick rage.
I had a history, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what you meant by the good one. No, it's a fair point you're saying, Patrick. I understand a lot of the content in the patches is recycled content. But I mean, there's also the reason they've chosen. Have they chosen the zones just to make it easy for themselves, or is it story based?
I mean, without wanting to refer,
finished.
Taliesin made a very valid point. Why wasn't No Lighter a zone? Why was it just a raid?
Oh, I mean, yeah,
That should have been like Argus. They should have put
stuff.
stuff. That should have been a whole quest hub and a whole content for us all to
It should have been the
explore and
Argus
enjoy.
of BFA.
Yeah.
I agree with you completely there. I do think.
Well, yes, the shit. I think from a lore point though, they've gone in old. Well, they've gone for the zones which have had old gods involved.
Yeah, I mean that's what they say in the storyline. But it literally says something along the lines of these are the Titan facilities. This is why we're looking at them.
Oh, it's a cheap, easy option.
True.
Get out the old models, reskin it.
But if
Product.
they did Nyalofa as a questing hub, it opens up so much more possibilities to what they could have done with visions. And I mean, obviously, they could have had.
Yeah, the assaults could have been in that zone.
Yeah, I mean, but then you've got to think the assaults are coming from Nylofa, not to Nylofa, so you change the assaults from.
Well, yeah, it
defenders
could have been
to
us
attacking.
making the assault, yeah, in the lore, setting up campsites and stuff.
I don't dislike it. I just think there could have been more. To be honest,
Could have been executed better, Frank.
Yeah, I mean,
I entirely agree. Actually, like I know I push for like the end game being unique, and I'm talking about very specific parts of it. I agree. This whole expansion, this patch, has been really bad, and I don't like the expansion. The problem that I found, the thing that I found interesting, is that despite that, I'm still coming back and I'm still playing it. So, like it's that's the problem. To kind of like put it down, something is that I'm still playing something that I'm actually, that I don't like very much, or at least maybe don't like as much as I used to in comparison.
Yeah.
So I entirely agree. I think like I would have loved a questing hub Nyaloth. I would have loved all of that because that sounds insane. And I think it's all recycled content. Why they've done that, I have no idea. I wouldn't be able to tell you. Other than obviously, maybe sort of Activision Blizzard kind of trying to save things a little bit.
There's cost going, yeah, it's cheap option.
Exactly. But I mean, I did enjoy Visions early on. I really enjoyed them. I thought they were insane. I think,
do you buy your tokens for the cape, or do you do Visions still?
I do Visions still. Yeah, I still do them. Yeah, I still
rank
do.
7, rank 6 on this guy.
I mean, on this guy, I've got rank 9, but I've got 15 on all the others that I play. Like I've switched mains a fair few times.
How many do you have?
So I've been playing Warlock, Rogue, Ellie Shaman, Monk on Alliance. I think that's it.
I love how you
So
got
it's
that
just-
wrapping the alliance thing in there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, you know,
Boys in blue.
That was the issue we
Sorry,
had
guys.
when I was forming the group. I completely forgot to ask whether Jake had any Horde characters, and when we got the battle net, I was just like, "He's on Alliance. This could go wrong."
thankfully I do have one Monk left. But yeah,
Goodness.
thank goodness. Otherwise, that would have been awkward. But no, I'm here. I did, as I was saying, like I did main Horde, so I've always got a bit of that love for it.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't take all of my characters across.
We kind of broke the rules of the normal thing. What I normally tell the guys that come on is that we don't say anything about the subject until we've done, until we start the video. But we did have a little chat beforehand because it was fun. It was hard to stop. I didn't want to stop it. I was enjoying it. But Carl was saying that the reason, more so obviously you guys all heard it, more so for anyone watching, the reason that Jake was on it so much is for addiction reasons, and I think that is definitely true of all of us.
Yeah.
It's definitely a very addictive game. It's a very fun game. Even when you, I come home, I've food or whatever, see the kids, and then I'll like turn the computer on, and I'll sit there and be like, what am I doing? Like, why am I on this?
I find there's no other game like WoW though. It's just
No.
that unique. I wouldn't think, oh yeah, WoW, that game that's just like this one. It's just WoW.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. No, it's you just like even all these WoW killer games that I've played loads of them. I played like Eve. I've played ESO Online. I played all of those. Guild Wars 2, everything, and it's just like I move on to that. I'm like I'm so very disappointed.
Yeah.
Because it's nothing like
It's just
anything.
not what you're used to. I mean, this game's been out for what? How long has it been out for? Like
15 years?
16 years?
Yeah, over 15. It's celebrated its anniversary, that didn't it?
Yeah.
That was like last year, or it was
Yeah.
near enough. Can we get Jacob, please?
We can.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, I mean, when we get to, I say that a lot, by the way. I can't. It's like my go-to thing to say as soon as I start. I'm like, yeah. Then I have to question myself what I'm saying yeah for. 40 stacks. Cal, can you
Yeah,
favour
no.
and just taunt and let Scott's stacks go off?
Yeah, sure, done it.
Also, maybe get these ads off me, Scott.
They're the things that are giving me the stacks.
Oh, is it? I don't really get too much of an issue with stacks on this, but I'm tanking it.
Kill this last one.
Ah,
No.
ow.
Go back here.
We can do this. We can do this. It's only 900k to go.
I believe
No,
I've
God, I'm
entered
running away
Shadow
from
Man
the ads.
early.
Patrick, you've got this.
Oh, it's so close. Oh,
Go on, go on, go on.
nice.
Oh,
wow.
I did
Well,
turn
that was
over.
exactly
I
as
didn't really want
planned.
to use. Remember that? Are you okay?
It was
Stressful.
totally scripted that way. So
Finally, Warlock has its day.
I say this is endgame related, but it's obviously expansion related. The features of the expansion, a few different ones to talk about. Obviously, the neck is the driving force between the lore meets gear kind of thing, and then you have the Azrite armor. Now, the neck as a progression, I didn't hate, but I didn't love. Like, it was just there. Like, I know a lot of people hated it because of the farm inside of it. You can go with Jacob catches up. A lot of people hated it because of the fact that you had to farm it. But they say this, you didn't have to farm it. You chose to farm it. If you farmed it, it's because you chose to farm it, or it's because you wanted to go high end.
Yeah.
Oh, you're on the right side. There you are.
I've actually got lost. So sorry, guys.
It's
I'll get there in a
absolutely
second.
fine.
Put up a summoning stone.
Just
Okay, you don't need to go into the portal. You can just come straight into the Ral's room.
Can I just do that? Nice.
and then we're going to go into the portal next, so don't worry about it. Just come follow our dots on the map.
Cool, I see you. I see you guys.
Cool. Just wait there.
I'm way here.
Oh,
Don't go in yet, Scott.
But no, we're killing the blobs that someone was infested with.
Oh, well, I wasn't paying attention. I just opened the door. Jake, go down the stairs, mate, into the door.
Go. I'm gonna run.
Everyone else follow. Oh shit.
That's it.
Follow suit.
Everyone go down the tentacles and teleport.
You can't tell people to go down, Scott. You get into shit like that.
Yeah.
It's almost about to say.
I mean, gladly, but
You guys are filth. I don't know why I bring you guys along. Yeah, so like Azerite armors get a lot of stick as part of the end game. As like obviously people want to get the optimal traits, and you know I don't hate it. I've got to lie. I can't lie. I actually quite like it. I think it gives a lot of. Obviously, I know you have to get the best traits if you're gonna. Pardon me. Push things and bring them downstairs, please, Scott.
Yep, I'm moving.
If you're going to push things, then you do need to get what you think is the best, and you do spend a lot of time chasing traits. But in terms of fun kind of playstyle changes, if you're just going to mess around, you can get some really cheesy builds. Not always the best builds, but you can get some fun cheese builds.
So the concept behind it is good. The execution, at least very early doors, was not.
How would you change the execution early doors? Like what would
So,
you
I mean, like how you had it initially, if you remember, when you first got set the pieces, it was easy, and then as soon as you did a mythic, you didn't have the neck level, and so it was locked off. So they need to scale it better early doors.
See, I didn't mind that because in the same way artifact weapons, eventually you unlocked everything. That whole what do I unlock next? What do I need to do to unlock this? It's exciting, especially in the start of a team.
But the difference there though, that was almost on like a talent tree, so you could see it and you knew what was coming up. You could plan for it. Whereas you might have
kind of like a personal talent tree, and you got 3 little mini ones.
not with how it was done, because if you think right again, just when it started, it's okay now. But when it first started, let's say you got it wasn't, but say it's 415 from a heroic, and you could unlock everything. You do your first mythic, and suddenly you don't have the ability to pick the last couple traits.
Oh no! I pulled these by mistake.
What woe?
yeah, I get what you're saying. At the start, when you didn't have the Azerite level for it, it was like quite a bit of a drawback, especially since like you couldn't plan for all Azerite traits if you didn't know about all the Azerite traits. You could only really plan for what you had on the gear you were lucky enough to get.
Yeah, whereas with the artifact weapons, as you mentioned then, you could see everything that was available, and so you could try and plan ahead for what you wanted.
Yeah. No, I kind of see your point. I'm not sure that a few times I've said this, I'm not sure I agree with you. Like, I'm not sure that anyone else agrees with me, to be honest, as well. I think that I'm probably alone when I say that, right, get out of the group.
To be honest, actually, I do agree. I actually agree with you, David. Okay. I think I actually enjoyed them, and I like personalization in MMOs a lot. Like, that's the one thing I loved about Legion, and the one thing that made me sad about BFA was that was the fact that we kind of got rid of that sort of class-specific sort of feeling that I got from that weapon. It was insane. Like, I loved that, and that I really enjoyed that because it made me feel like, okay, my character's got some sort of like role here. It feels like I've chosen the class of being, I don't know, let's say a monk. I've farmed this like artifact appearance and stuff, and done all the end game content, and I feel like this feels awesome to me.
Jump out of the group. Yeah.
So
you definitely have that awesome feeling. You've got this awesome, cool weapon. One of my favourite classes in Legion was the Warlock for the Affliction, and I've always thought Affliction, it's dot weaving, it's plague based, it doesn't sound fun. I don't want to try it, and then I tried it for the weapon just by chance, and it was like just the best thing I played. Like, I loved it.
Yeah, I don't know,
and I do think that having the fact that you had to swap classes for it was as well. It pulled you into something that you might have been set in your ways. So like, I always used to level up as Rep Pally. In Legion, I went pro. Obviously, my Paladin's my main, if you didn't know. I went pro, and it was amazing. I absolutely loved it, and I would never have done that before.
Yeah.
It was just Legion was definitely the best expansion. There's hands down for me personally. I know it's a personal
Stay up here.
opinion. I'm gonna go to the back.
On the topic of gear, though, I've found, like, especially on the front of wanting to make alts and try out different stuff in the game, I've found in this expansion it's just just hell with the amount of gear you've got to grind, and then specifically in this patch, how you've got to go out and get all your corruption just to be on par with everyone.
Yeah, corruption does suck a little bit in that respect. I do agree with you there. But the rest of it, I'm gonna make a counter argument that when you start a new character, I mean, I have one of every class now at max. I almost like Patrick have 2 warlocks at max. And when you go on to a different character, it's not a different game. It doesn't feel like a different game. In all the ways a different game would. But it's a different angle of the game. It's a different way of playing. It's a different play style. You've got to learn how the class works. You've got to gear up, and you've got to. It gets back to that start of the expansion when it's exciting to get new gear. And talking about in the context of end game, that does keep you going. And Jake, that you've got a few ults. That might be why you find it so satisfying to come back. And there's always going to be some sort of progression you can do. It's only now when Shadowlands is out in, we don't know when, but very soon. Let me just get some mana before we start.
Yeah.
It's only now that I'm starting to think, oh, I want to play this game for a few weeks before I get back into WoW.
Yeah. On a sort of flip side, for PvPers, one of the first problems that we have in general is that a lot of us don't want to do PV, and obviously I want to do. I'll do this intro. Obviously, I want to do PvE, but for a lot of people, they don't want to do that, and having to like spam and do mythic raiding to get to be competitive. Like I'm talking about, in order to actually have any chance of getting any higher than 2K, you've got to have a lot of gear, and that's insane. It's actually insane that has to be a thing, and Shadowlands is going to correct that. But it's just absolutely, I got that one, sorry. Just absolutely insane to think that is a thing at all. So, I don't mind doing it, but at the same time, I'm sort of alone on that in sort of my big community, because nobody enjoys doing that at all. It's kind of grim for them.
Yeah, as someone who also PvPs, I have that view of, I really don't want to be doing all this Mythic Plus and raiding in order to step into the arena and have a bit of fun. Before this patch, I really just haven't bothered raiding. It's only maybe for curve to get a new mount. But because now it's if you don't have your raid gear, you're just gonna get one shot in a combustion or something.
Yeah, I mean, that does suck a little bit. I'm quite fortunate in that I also like PvE and PvP. I prefer PvE, so I'm always not too far behind. And I think what they were doing, the idea, it started in sort of Warlords when they took, it was Warlords, wasn't it, when they took out Resilience as a stat?
Yeah.
And it was so PvP is more accessible, but, PvP to PvPers was already accessible. So what they actually did there was make PvE essential for non-PvEers, like you said, and it does suck a little bit for the ones that don't, and I do sympathise with them. And there should be, I mean, the only way to fix that really is to get the vendor back.
Yeah, that's exactly what the fix is. I think another fix is actually, the problem that we had is that PvP gear was absolutely useless in PvE. You couldn't gear through PvP and go and take part in the raids. So if they manage to do that as well, PvPers will probably actually do PvE content just for fun rather than a forced grind, which is important.
Yeah.
In terms of the communities, do you find either one more toxic than the other?
I mean, for me personally, PvP has always been they're very toxic high level. Having done a lot of high level RBGs, especially back in the day, it was very, very toxic. But to be honest, I don't think it's not nearly as bad as Mythic Plus. Like when people leave the key halfway through.
We've lost
Yeah.
percentage. We'll
Yeah,
go back
go
up to
back
Peter
up.
Lucille, please.
Yeah.
And we'll go straight to the Huntsman Lodge, Scott.
Yeah, I'm
and
going
then
straight
bring him
right.
back into this room. Everyone else stay here.
But I've found that they can be like just as toxic as each other sometimes. Like regardless of the level,
I find PvP
You're
less
always gonna
toxic,
get-
to be honest.
hmm,
In my experience, I know that's not probably representative of everyone, but I find Mythic Plus, like Jake said, to be the most toxic game style. Sorry, I've played in a long time. I think it
Yeah.
is. It's silly how. I mean, you haven't, Jake, because you know we've only been speaking a week. But you've all seen me pug rage, but it's usually when someone tilts me so much that I can't help but respond.
Yeah.
Like specifically when I get blamed for stuff that wasn't me. Like if it's me, I'm like, oh yeah, that was my bad, sorry. If they're raging me after that, then you know, fair enough. We need to go down to get the loop, I guess.
Oh yeah, we do.
But yeah, I mean, to finish up, I forgot what I was saying. To finish up the chat, I think I will say you are right, and in the video, I completely agreed with what you said. There's something about the end game that just makes you want to keep playing. For me, it was
Yeah.
pushing score. It was improving myself. That so much has gone out the window now because I'm fed up of the whole elitist attitude at the higher end of keys, of getting into keys, and I have no luck with pugs.
Nah, as you said in one of your other videos, the higher key you go, the more people look to the MDI, and there's the meta roles and things, so
Yeah,
people only look for that, and that screws you over.
It does a little bit when you're playing something a bit unique, or if you just like playing it. Or maybe if you just don't want to do the MDI pulls, or you know, healers
Yeah.
actually have to heal.
Hmm.
But you know, the end game it's definitely great. I think the end game in this, I know Patrick, you said you didn't think it was so good, but I really enjoyed it, and I think some of
No
what
worries.
some of what it is just the community, the people you're playing with making it better. But that's us. That's our
Yeah.
chat done. Thanks very much, guys. Jake, you were excellent. I hope you come back again another time for another chat.
Yeah, of course, love to.
And yeah, thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.